Hello, and welcome to that Eurovision podcast, Eurovision with a Slice of Life. My name is Rory, and I'm doing very tired today because today is the day after Eurovision 2020 to be finally over for the cycle. But I'm feeling very tired because I was up until 3 o'clock in an after party with Leslie Roy, so I'm very tired, but it's all worth it because I was able to hang out and like listen to some proper DJ tunes from a Eurovision representative. So we have to stand. And joining me,
Jazzy, kind of sharing the sentiment of just being really, really tired and not really knowing what to do with myself because, like, it's now off season, but there's no, like, results to, like, analyze and get into, and it just feels really weird.
Yeah, I'm sort of feeling that as well. So yeah, it's Rosie. Hi. I am probably not as tired as everyone else because from the sounds of things, I went to bed at the sensible time of midnight. I was feeling emotion. I was like, my emotions are done for tonight. I'm gonna go get some sleep, and then woke up at a sensible time, and I'm feeling about as tired as I usually am. So nothing particularly exciting. And I also didn't drink, so I'm not hungover. So I'm rubbing it in Tim's face right now.
Yeah.
But on the downside, I did not get to stay up in a Zoom chat with Leslie Roy, and I'm so jealous.
oh, it was amazing, honestly.
Yeah, it's Tim here, as you already know. I'm in my bed. I'm hungover and yeah, last night I think I drank so much during Leslie's DJ set and it just went haywire from there. Went on a Zoom chat with a few people and then went to bed at 2 a.m. really drunk. And
It's tough.
yeah, yeah, I haven't drank heavily for a long time, and I accept that price. That I just kept drinking and I didn't feel anything, and when it really hit. So this is where the responsible person put a hashtag drink responsibly.
Hashtag drink responsibly, guys. Hashtag drink responsibly. Oh dear. But yeah, so as Jazzy said, we're now technically in off season, although it's kind of always felt like off season since the cancellation of 2020. But what we're going to talk about in this episode is we're just going to just talk about what the shows were like last night. So, for example, Eurovision Europe Shine a Light and the BBC show, which is Eurovision Come Together. So just like sort of kicking off, like what were your kind of expectations just going into like last night? Like what were you hoping for and like in the way that they were going to present the songs and
I don't know if I really had any. Like, it's just so unprecedented that I was like, is this going to be a more upbeat show? Is this going to be a more downbeat show? And it did end up being a little bit more on the serious side, which I think, given the world's circumstances right now, I think I'm kind of glad for that because I don't know if an upbeat, happy show for some countries would have been appropriate. So yeah, I think I'm kind of glad they veered more in the serious direction for Europe Shine a Light because different countries are in different stages in their pandemic. So I'm glad it was more on a serious note rather than an upbeat one.
I admit that when I went, certainly for the BBC show, when I went in, I didn't have especially high expectations. And actually, it did sort of win me over a little bit. And it did feel a bit sort of... Graham Norton is clearly done with this shit.
already.
Like, when he... Like, he had his favourite songs, and he's perfectly entitled to that. But if one of your favourite songs is Estonia, then...
Girl, please. Anyone but Estonia.
Ooh woo!
Ooh woo. Hashtag ooh woo.
Ooh woo! I was just like... I was like, has he even listened to these songs? Is he just...
Maybe he just never imagined the power.
He never imagined the need either.
The need for taste.
True.
Maybe he's got coronavirus. He's just got the first sign of a lack of taste.
Oh my god! That's it.
For me, I didn't expect to enjoy it. I thought it was like, okay, he's here. We're gonna have another pointless British show where it's very nationalistic and very like back in the olden days when we were so good. He barely touched upon that on Eurovision Come Together, so I'm quite happy with the end result. But at the same time, Graham's commentary is a bit questionable.
And instead, all we got was pointless.
Yeah.
I love
Which was
Pointless.
great, and I'm a huge Pointless fan anyway, so I was always going to enjoy that.
Oh,
I was like, if Suri doesn't get to this final round, then I'm never watching this show ever again.
Suri owns my heart.
Surrey was amazing, honestly. Surrey and Dana was that great. For those who don't know, Pointless is a British game show where the aim of the game is to get as few points as possible. And Surrey and Dana got to the final, which is kind of ironic given how both of them are like winners in our hearts, but one of them was an actual winner and then the other one came not as good.
And then Mons absolutely screwed over Neve Kavanagh in the second round.
Oh, don't even. But,
he was
like,
doing so well,
fuming.
and then he did not.
And also, watching that show, what I really loved about Suri is, you know how she said, she made a joke about what happened in Lisbon, and she took it on her own, and I loved her for that.
Yeah, I think you have to, like, if you can't laugh at yourself, just have to own it, don't you?
Yeah, so shout out to
Exactly.
Suri, we love you.
Shout out to Surrey, guys.
We love
Suri.
you.
We love you. But going into last night, I was somewhat apprehensive, I guess, because given how the BBC usually treats Eurovision, I was kind of hesitant to kind of get on board with the whole concept of Eurovision Come Together. And to be fair, it did manage to kind of surpass my expectations in a way that it was more of the actual performances. And I did actually like how they included the original postcards from the year that they competed as well. I think that was a really nice touch.
I loved that bit.
I thought it was really nice because there were actually some postcards that I hadn't actually seen before. When Europe Shine a Light came on, I wasn't too sure what it was going to be like, because I'd heard that they were only going to be including 30 seconds for each clip, and given how sort of the Eurovision YouTube channel usually just does like a 15-minute recap of each song, of all of the songs, with only like 25 seconds, 30 seconds for each song, I was figuring that it was going to be something along those lines. But the way that they kind of spaced everything out, so they didn't like go through all of the songs in one go, it was kind of sections of each song. I thought it was a really good way of actually doing it, and then intersperse it then as well with some extra sort of performances like from Maria Sharapova and Duncan Lawrence and Netta. I think they handled it very well, although I will say that I was watching the show with my mum, and she did say that it was coming across as if it was very sort of depressing. She wasn't a big fan of like the big serious downbeat tone of everything, but I think it could only be like that because of how serious this whole situation is.
I do wonder a little bit how they chose the order of which songs they were, of the 2020 songs, how they were going to show them in which order, because there was one point where it was like sad boy song, sad boy song, sad boy song, sad boy song, hurricane. And I was like,
well,
that's not what a running order producer would do.
I'm thinking, because it started with Israel and it ended with the Netherlands, I think it was going to be the voting order for the juries. Because that's what usually happens. Like you start the jury voting off with the country that hosted last year, and then you finish it with the host country from this year.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean,
That makes sense.
What other like kind of things about the show did you enjoy? Was it because I actually thought that a lot of the actual I say interval acts, but I mean like the performers from like Netta and Duncan Lawrence, I thought they were very poignant. I think.
I really liked the performance of Netta. I think it was really nice to just like see a different side to her that I feel like a lot of Eurovision fans expect this big crazy performance, and it was really nice to just see her sat there singing a song, and it was really really emotional, and I don't think I was expecting that, but it was really nice at the same time.
Mhm. One other thing I liked is I wasn't expecting this. Michael Schulte and Ilse.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
yes.
That duet.
yeah.
I was just like, oh my god, the harmonies, the vocals.
That place that
And
they sang in as well was stunning.
yeah, we need to go there next year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do a tour in the Netherlands.
Do it. I mean, hey, everywhere in the Netherlands is pretty easy to get by. I'm sure we could probably just track it down and be like, this is it, we're going.
When we're going to be in the Netherlands, to be in the press
In the press
area
centre.
for Eurovision 2021 in Rotterdam next year.
Yes. And also shout out to NPO for finally actually confirming that Rotterdam will indeed host Eurovision next year. I think that was something that wasn't necessarily unexpected, but it was just nice to have it finally confirmed. And
Yeah.
Oh, it was lovely. And the way they did it as well, the video that they showed, it was just, my heart had a little moment.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay, you're keeping up the open up theme going. Whew. Hopefully they do. Because I think that's what they were trying to project. Well, they were trying to project it that way, that open up will be the slogan for 2021.
that would be a very interesting, like open up would be a poignant slogan because countries are literally opening up now.
Yeah.
It's like, boom. Maybe they like saw this coming and so they decided just to like
Keep it.
Yeah. Just as well, I think. Yeah, I did really like Netta's performance. I think Duncan's as well was quite good. I wasn't a big fan of Johnny Logan's performance, but that's just because I think as an Irish Eurovision fan, we hear that song quite an awful lot here. So I when I hear it, I do feel like it's kind of been done to death. So I don't necessarily know if it's kind of the same for you guys.
I'm just confused as to why he looked like Richard Branson now.
I mean, I can see that. I
just saw him on TV and I was like, wait, how did that age to that? I'm very confused. And I thought he was about to like complain at the government for not giving him bits of the NHS.
Oh god, don't even. I mean, luckily Johnny Logan is not that bad, and we do actually like Johnny Logan in this household.
Yeah.
So
Good.
it's all right.
Yeah.
But
Good.
yeah, the performance was a little bit iffy on my part on that front, but I did enjoy the way that they handled the acts as well, and I think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it was kind of clear that Maria Sherifovic was lip syncing, and I did wish that she did actually sing live, but alas, you know, we have to just take what we've been given. But it was a good style of sort of performances as well. Also, can we just take a minute as well to appreciate actually all of the hosts singing as well at the start of the show?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was lovely.
Because who would have we all know that Celia Rombly can sing, but I didn't think that like Jan and Chantal were able to sing as well. I thought that was like.
Can I just point out Jan Smit is a member of Toppers. Like it's like a Dutch supergroup. So yeah, before Jan Smit joined, they actually represented the Netherlands in Eurovision in 2009.
Oh yeah. People
And
let
they
the
failed.
light shine.
And you know, did you know that Jan Smith's specialty is actually Schlager?
Oh no.
He joined a part of a trio called Club 3. I just butchered that pronunciation. I'm so sorry. There's a lot we don't know about Jan Smith, and I think we need to delve into that in another podcast at some point.
Oh. We're gonna have to do like a full-on like investigative episode, just like the life and career of Jan Smit.
Yeah.
Oh no. But I thought it was kind of surprising because I didn't actually know that he was actually a member of the Toppers, but it was really interesting. So it kind of took me by surprise, especially with like Chantel as well, because I think she's like a newsreader or something, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God I got that right.
She's on a she's one of the like well known hosts in the Netherlands. She's on I think she's on one of the commercial broadcasters. Yeah, she presented Idol. Oh no, she's an actual singer. She's been on Wicked and Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
Oh,
Yeah, so all of them can sing. Because obviously Ed Silla we know. So
Wow.
the fact that they've hired professional singers and they've used their talent on the show, and imagine that's just a teaser. Imagine what can happen next year.
Imagine what the interval act's going to be like.
Oh god.
Oh my God. It'll be like it'd be like you like building bridges, but like 10 times better.
yeah.
Yes. And I like
mean, to be-
building bridges.
No, to be fair, though, like they did have some of the intervals planned and announced. So I'm just thinking now that, of course, you're changing it in 2020 and 2021. Would they use the same openings and intervals, or would they change? I'm thinking they'd change it now that they've got a reset button.
I think they'd probably keep some of the big, like the more famous names, like Afrojack, Lenny Core as well, just because like they're quite iconic Dutch sort of acts. But I think maybe with that break dancer, I can't for the life of me remember what his name is.
Redo.
That one, yeah. I feel like maybe they might swap him out for something else. I honestly, I mean, it's very still too sort of early in the game to say, but maybe they might move everything over because no one actually saw what these performances were going to be like. So it could be possible that they might just carry everything over, and that would save them a lot of time.
Yeah. It would save them money as well, because like obviously they've had to like pay for like 2 years in a row, so I feel like maybe they will keep a lot of the interval acts that they had planned, because I feel like they won't need yes, they'll need to be hired out again, but they won't need to be hired out for such a high price as they were the first time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So I feel like it would save them money as well, and I feel like to have for planning Eurovision 2 years in a row, I feel that's something. And also because we're in a global pandemic, is something the Netherlands are probably going to be quite mindful of.
I think they've got quite a nice opportunity for next year now to be able to both sort of celebrate the Eurovision that could have been and also use what's happened in the couple of years since the last actual contest to create something that's really sort of special and celebratory and sort of acknowledges that we've been through a really horrible time in the meantime and we're coming out the other side now, hopefully by that point. I don't want to jinx it, but
touch wood.
we're coming.
Touch wood.
Yeah, we're coming out the other side now, and now we can all get together again and enjoy this huge celebration that we didn't get to have last year. So I think by being able to acknowledge what they had planned previously and to be able to use some of what they had planned previously while also updating it for having been through that horrible time, I think that's going to be really lovely.
Speaking of saving money, I think it's time we also kind of turn our attention to the multitude of artists who have been confirmed to return next year as well. For example, Samantha Tina, the one and only.
I'm so happy.
I'm so happy for
that
I saw the
exploded.
video of her reaction, and it's just the sweetest thing.
Yeah, I think she just deserved it, really. Like, given like you've tried so many times to get on, and then the one time you do get on, it gets cancelled. I think if they didn't pick her, I think it would have been the most stupid thing that Latvia could have ever done. But they saw the potential to save a lot of money, and they're letting her just take full control. And I think you can't like the only way is up now for Samantha Tina. So I'm so looking forward to seeing what she has to come next year.
Okay, do you want the list?
Yes, please.
Yes,
All right,
let's
so we
have a
already
list.
all right then. So we already know it's Montino, of course, because we touched on that already. You got Australia with Montaigne, Austria with Vincent Bueno, praise the Lord. Azerbaijan with Effendi, Belgium with Hooverphonic, Bulgaria with Victoria, Czech Republic with Benny Cristo, Georgia with Tornik Kipiani, Greece with Stefania, Israel with Eden Aline, Malta with Destiny, Netherlands with Giango McCreary, Romania with Roxanne, Spain with Blas Canto, Switzerland with John Steers, and Ukraine with Goe.
It's great, isn't it?
That's like nearly
60.
half.
Yeah. So yeah,
Uh,
so we need more. We need more of them. We need Leslie. We need who else do we need? This is the point I'm gonna make right now. If you internally select your artist, you shouldn't have a problem selecting them again in 2021.
Exactly.
I think
Because
with the
if you
one caveat, the
Like-
artist should be able to say, actually, don't fancy it this year. I've got other things to be doing. And I think if the refusal comes from the artist, I don't have a huge issue with that. But if it's on the part of the broadcaster not even bothering to offer it to them, then nah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a couple of broadcasters that have done that, and not going to call anyone out, but I saw one this week that really, like, did not need to do that.
I think I know which one you're saying. Does that?
A country in the Big Five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yes, no. To be fair, because what I don't get is they've done it before where they didn't use that certain selection method, and they've selected internally. So I don't get what the problem is.
And said person wants to go again,
yes,
which is like,
Choices have been made.
I'm gonna put out that gift saying we need to talk about your life choice. So to that Big Five country, I'm posting that GIF as soon as this podcast comes out later.
Yes, definitely.
Also, just saying, this entire fandom slept on Fire More.
oh,
that.
did we just call out the broadcaster we're talking about?
Yes.
To be fair, though, actually, I do think it became a bit of a, like, everyone started to love it within, like, the last couple of weeks. It's almost like the Fuego effect.
Like, I do think between Faya Remore and Think About Things, it would have been extremely close. Like, closer than
And I
we've
love
had.
both of them, so I wouldn't have minded
Like-
either way. But
Since the new system was introduced, like, in 2016, I think it would have been the closest result since then.
Mm.
And I think that would have made for very interesting watching. Because Italy haven't won for 30 years and Iceland have never won.
Not to mention as well, I mean, like, if you also looked at, like, some of the other favourites as well, so, like, you know, Lithuania, Bulgaria as well, like, none of them had ever won either. So,
Malta.
and Malta as well. Destiny's coming back as well.
I'm so excited.
I'm so happy for Destiny. Like, I think I said that, like, last week or two weeks ago, that she was my top pick to come back.
TVM obviously just must have been listening to the podcast, so they must have heard you and be like, yeah, that's it. We're sending Destiny now.
TVM made the good list.
Yeah. But as well as that, we also have Slovenia coming back with Ana Soklic, and we also have San Marino coming back. We have Senate coming back as well.
I love how she pretty much announced her comeback on the actual show. And it managed to somewhat stay a secret. I don't think it was confirmed she was returning. Like, I think there was, like, a feeling she would, but it wasn't confirmed until we actually saw the show.
I mean, who else is San Marino going to pick? Like, Valentina
Yeah.
again.
Serhat again.
Serhat again.
If they manage to convince you.
Supergroup of Senhit, Serhat, and Valentina.
Oh my
That's gonna
god.
that is so gonna happen here.
Are you planting a seed here, Rosie?
I am. I plant the seed.
2022, then we'll come back to this.
We will.
I am a Micronation participation stan. Give me my micronations.
Give us the micronations, give them now. Although saying that, Andorra has said that they will not be returning next year, and that is something that just pains me to say, because we miss Andorra.
F in the chat.
F in the chat for Andorra, guys. F in the chat. But no, I think now that the actual show is over, I think it'll be likely that we will get more confirmations of artists in the near future, because in the run up to Eurovision Europe Channel, I sent out a number of emails to a lot of the countries that hadn't confirmed their participation yet, and I did ask whether or not they were planning on sending their 2021 artists, and some of the countries have got back to me. For example, France, Slovenia, Italy, whereas others not so much. So I can expect that we will be getting some more confirmations in the near future. Hopefully, people like Germany, because I think Germany said they were waiting until their sort of show on the 16th to decide if Ben Dolic was going to come back. So
they were waiting to see what the reaction was to him and the performance, and I do think maybe that is because I feel like we hadn't really seen it live before last night, not properly. Like, we've seen it in acoustically, and it is a really good performance. So I just hope that the reviews were positive and he will be selected for Germany again. It sounds as if Germany will announce in the near future.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be, because the pressure is going to be on a lot of countries now to kind of present, to reselect their artist, because it's going to be in people's minds, so it's going to be more likely to sort of bow to public pressure, if you understand it. Although saying that, actually, I don't know if anyone here kind of watches ITV News, but on was it? I think it was Thursday or Friday, one of them days. ITV News actually had two members of Scooch on, and
yeah. Oh my god!
I know. First off, it was amazing to see how they have. Well, the women haven't aged at all. The men, not so much. They seemed to hint a lot that James had actually been confirmed for 2021, despite the BBC saying nothing. So ITV were saying things like, "Oh, hopefully he'll do really well next year, and he will be back next year to defend the colours," and it was kind of strange because the BBC had said absolutely nothing about whether or not James was going to come back or not. So there needs to be some sort of clarification here, UK. We need answers.
I feel like the UK likes to be quite secretive, and I like to take it as a good sign for now, because obviously there has been little allusions to him coming back, but there's obviously been nothing fully confirmed. I just think the BBC like to say a little hush hush on their idea, on their plan. It may be a later date than a lot of countries that we hear anything officially from them. But
so from now on, we're not going to hear anything until 2021 from the BBC, basically.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, because that's the way it is. And because last year they broke that trajectory and just said, September, here's what we're doing. And then they gone quiet again until January.
Or even later than that. It was mid-February.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not...
So the point where people were making Twitter bots about whether they'd said anything, let's say that.
So the BBC staying silent on James Newman participating, for me at the moment isn't necessarily a bad thing unless we hear rumours, because I think in recent years we're so used to the BBC staying silent on matters regarding Eurovision, so I'm not taking it as a bad thing.
True. But I mean, we're hungry Eurovision fans. We need to know if this is going to happen or not, you know? We're very impatient people.
Yep.
But speaking just about the UK and about about your Shine a Light. When, like during Graham Norton's commentary of the show, did anyone kind of feel that he may have actually been getting a lot more emotional as the night had gone on?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't know.
I feel like at the beginning he wasn't sure, he wasn't sure what expectations he had, and I feel like the show itself exceeded his expectations, which I think as the show went on you could kind of tell. And like as the night went on, I feel like I think him, like a lot of people across Europe will have been, were just very touched by the show, and I think that's a good thing.
I think you couldn't not be, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that doesn't really tend to get emotional at things that I view as like separate to me, so media and things like that. I'm quite emotional in my sort of personal life, but when things are separate to me, I don't tend to get those same sorts of feelings, so I don't cry at films or things like that very regularly, but that did. It got me.
Oh, bless. It's just because I bring that up because when they did the live link to Graham in London, you could kind of almost tell in his voice that it was almost like he was tearing up, and like it was very like he was sort of trembling in his voice.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a shock, really, to see him get so emotional about something that he has done the commentary for what, only 11 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think I wonder if he's going to carry on this sort of sense of celebration, or do you think he might just go back to verging on the edge of Terry Woganisms?
I think he was over the night. It was really strange because there were points where, certainly towards the end of it, he felt really sort of genuine and emotional, and there were points sort of before then when he actually just felt a bit mean. And it was such a refreshing thing for me to then turn over to watch Ryland's A to Z, because that did really hit the right tone for me. It was sort of mocking, but it was gentle.
Yeah.
It didn't ever go for sort of personal attacks or anything like that. And I did.
Can I just
feel
say
that
something
with Graham a little bit? Yes.
A to Z honouring John Olasand.
Yes.
John
Because
Olasand.
Because Europe Shine a Light I think that was, for me, that was just the one thing. And I just hope maybe they'll do it next year. Because he has been the executive supervisor for a while. And I just feel like we could, like a little montage of the Take It Away.
Yeah. I mean,
that was lovely.
I mean, given the fact he's been the executive supervisor since I think 2011 or something like that, so it'd have been 9 years that he'd have been executive supervisor. I think it was only fair for him to get some form of recognition.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm just really glad that Ryland did that, and yeah, I think it was the one moment in the A to Z that got me. He's really going, and times are moving on.
I mean, we have Martin Osterdahl coming from next year, and he's worked very hard on like being an executive producer for the contest in Malmö and in Stockholm, I believe, as well. So like he is, the contest is being left in capable hands. I do wonder though whether or not as we enter a new sort of era in Eurovision, maybe we could have countries like Kazakhstan finally being able to get in.
Let them in!
Let them in!
Are we planting more seeds?
We're planting all of the seeds. We're planting a whole garden at this stage.
To be fair, though, if we're getting that emotional, remember that there's another little event coming up in November. Just remember that.
Oh yes, Junior Eurovision.
And that's his first Eurovision event. That he's the executive supervisor.
But how okay, can we just take a moment to appreciate the logo of Junior Eurovision?
Yeah, leave the world.
Yes.
I think that's one of the slickest logos I've ever seen for any Junior Eurovision ever.
Mm-hmm. As much as I love Share the Joy and the fact that they made it so relatable to what's happening right now, and it's just amazing.
like, I'm like really glad that Junior Eurovision is happening. I do wonder how it's all going to be done.
I've got an answer for you to that. It's going to take place in Warsaw in they said an entertainment venue. They're hinting. So basically, what they're hinting is it's not going to have an audience.
No audience.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to hint. In the FAQs, they weren't confirming it, but it looks like there's not going to be an audience at Junior this year.
Wow. I mean,
And
I'm glad they're trying to pull out all the stops to make sure it still happens.
Yeah,
Because
I think what
it's one of those things. It always lands on my birthday weekend, so I always plan a little cute Junior Eurovision party.
Aww.
Aww.
Because it's never land. The thing is, it's never on my actual birthday.
29th of November.
It's the day after.
Oh. Hey, at least count it as like the EBU sort of like birthday present to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think on this one I think they're trying to use Junior as a testing field, I think.
Yeah, to see I feel like they want to see what things they can do with. The chances are they're going to need a satellite for some countries.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the countries that take part, I guess, and their own stages of the pandemic.
Because I was thinking countries like Wales, like if Wales wants to take part, with not with Brexit, obviously Brexit wouldn't have had any implications initially, but because of the pandemic and because of stuff like that, it might.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see how it plays out if there is satellite links, because obviously, like casting our minds back to 2017 when Yulia Samoylova wasn't really able to come to Ukraine to perform, and the EBU offered her to perform via satellite link, and then obviously because they turned it down and in the end Russia withdrew, we never actually got to see whether or not that would be a successful means to perform. So it would be interesting to see if they did test that out at the contest in Warsaw, just to see if it puts countries at an advantage or a disadvantage, or just to see how it would go, really.
Like, because we kind of got a little hint at that last night with Ben Dolich's snippet, because that was a satellite link. I don't think that performance was that old. I think it was like an hour, 2 hours old.
Oh.
Yeah, it was from their final.
Yeah, so, like, I feel like they kind of tested that with his performance, and to me it worked.
Okay.
Yeah, that performance that was shown, he only did last night.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
I know they included like for Montaigne, I know they included her her stage performance of her would have been performance from the Big Night In. So again, that's another thing that came on. I'm not gonna lie though, I when I first saw Ben's performance, that little snippet, I hadn't heard the stage version of Violent Thing. So when he went up to that high note, I was kind of like, excuse me? I do think overall the EBU and like NPO they did put on a really respectable show for like a grieving Europe. And it did feel like, yes, there was still some forms of like mockeries every now and again, but it just kind of felt like it wasn't needed to be mocked because it wasn't the same. And so like to mock it, especially in this time, would have been almost
it would have been distasteful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So to have that kind of sense where actually everyone does actually set aside their opinions of like what they think of the contest, and everyone just coming together for the sake, like for the common effort, really.
Like,
sorry, go on.
like for those like few hours, it did bring Europe together.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I feel that is definitely something like in the last few weeks was definitely needed. So I'm very glad that they like didn't cancel everything altogether and just had no show.
Yeah, because I think if they didn't have the show, I think that would have made everything a lot worse.
I think we also really need to just sort of put it out there and say just how much the EBU has done even since the contest has been cancelled. They've put so much effort into creating stuff for us. They've done Europe Shine a Light. They've done the home concerts. They did the song celebrations on YouTube where the semi-finals would have been. And I'm just so
Putting old
thankful for
contests
everything
up on
that they've done
YouTube.
for us because
Yeah.
it's really helped fill that gap and sort of plug that little hole that Eurovision left when it was cancelled. And it's not the same as having a competition year, but there was still that celebration there, and I still had that opportunity to, well, come together with people. And I'm really thankful for everything that they've done.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was a tough time, and especially like given how the contest was only cancelled in mid-March when the whole show was supposed to have been taking place in mid-May. They didn't have a lot of time to put a lot of this stuff together. But the fact they've managed to give us like so much content, I think it has to be commended somewhat. So, you know, like having Europe Shine a Light, having the home concerts, having Eurovision calls with Nikki tutorials, it's something that's just really like indicative of how much the EBU just loves Eurovision. Also, just one special shout out as well to Mons Elmelov for that performance of Heroes as well in his back garden, because that was, I mean, I usually don't tear up about anything, right? But that performance was like it like it just touched something.
Like, some people joke that he will never leave Eurovision. I don't want him to. Like, it wouldn't feel like a Eurovision without him. And I feel like he was the right person to do that sort of tribute. And the song is obviously so poignant, and they were right. Like, any health worker, any key worker that's gone out and done their bit, you are heroes, and they've helped us get through some really tough times. We wouldn't have been able to without them. So, and I think they definitely picked the right song and the right artist.
So, do we have any sort of final points just on the shows like Come Together and Shine a Light?
Thank you for giving us something at least to give us a memory of 2020.
Like, they just gave, like, I feel like the BBC just gave us a night, like, they gave us like a good 6 hours of like continuous content, because after the A to Z they played some songs on Radio 2, and that was really nice as well. Rylan hosted it himself, so yeah, I think it's very nice that they gave us like a full night instead, and like dedicated like the whole night to Eurovision, because it was just a really, really nice touch.
Yeah, I did.
Like,
I loved how involved that the BBC got, and I know
yeah.
like the UK is like very sort of polarized just on Eurovision as a whole concept, but when you have that much content showing like how amazing the people who take part in it are, the fans, the songs, like, and just the emotion that it all brings out, I think it's something that we just have to like support, you know. Also,
And not to mention the little extra bits as well, like the Newsbeat documentary and things.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, that was an amazing documentary.
That was lovely.
Made me
like,
cry.
like, I think it's credit where credit's due that in this instance the BBC did good.
Definitely, yeah. Hopefully they can learn, like they can learn from all of this, and they can like say like, okay, this all worked well, and they just carry this on, like for 2021, because that like this is like going in the right direction. Like you're creating a lot of content for fans, for viewers, and it's being very well received, you know. So
And it's
sorry, go on.
positive content. It doesn't feel like it's mocking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the UK uses to mock the contest is Graham Norton. So if we could, and I love Graham Norton. Don't get me wrong, I love him. But if we can get a petition to change the commentator from Graham Norton to Rylan, I think that would be fantastic. So I'm planting a seed here maybe we can try and get a petition going or something like that.
Because like a part of me really feels like that the whole BBC's approach, a lot of it may have came like Rylan may have been like the brains of a lot of it, and like because he is one of us. He's like a fan, and he's like a genuine and he kind of gets what the Eurofans want. And I feel like
one of us.
Hashtag join us.
So yeah, I just think it's got to be a big shout out to Ryan.
Yeah, shout out to Rylan. You know, like, one of us. We love you, man.
Final rendition of Love Shine a Light. That just... Oh boy, that did it for me.
Oh, the Love Shine a Light without Hooverphonic in it.
Yeah,
Oh.
because Alex is terrible.
Yeah, no. Where's
They could've
Luca? Huh?
Yeah, they could just let her sing it. She was a vocalist anyway. That'll be fun going into 2021, getting asked that question every single time. Where were
That is
you?
one deep hole to dig themselves out of.
Not least when they've already confirmed for next year already.
I know.
It was half a line. Really?
At most, it was going to be half a line. So I don't understand why.
Like some got 2 lines, some got 1 line, and some barely got anything. So
Yeah.
It's all right. Well, when we come to the press center next year, if you all, you know, subscribe and just
Like
spam
and
us,
subscribe.
like and subscribe, guys, and share, like and share. Once we get to the press center, we will call them out. We will ask these very uncomfortable questions.
Cue Jamala.
Cue Jamala. Like, Love Shine a Light is shit. Oh dear. Right. So yeah, that brings us to the end of not only this episode of that Eurovision podcast, but it also sort of closes the chapter on Eurovision 2020. So I'd love to thank Jazzy, Rosie and Tim again for this fantastic time, and yeah, and the only way is forward now. We're now in off season, so we're going to be delving in a lot more with these country perspectives that we've been looking at, as well as a couple of other sort of retrospective years as well. So please do like and follow us on our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at That Euro Podcast. We're also on Spotify as well, so make sure you get notified whenever there's a new episode coming out. So please just stay safe, stay alert, whatever country, whatever message that your country is telling you to do, and yeah, so we'll be delivering more content to you in the next few weeks anyway. So does everyone want to say bye-bye?
Bye.
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 Let our love
Shine a light in every
every
corner of my heart.